Hello everyone, very good afternoon. Today I'm Amrita from marketing team for the day's podcast. With us there is Dhairya Gangwani. Hi Dhairya, how are you?
Hi Amrita, I'm doing fine. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm good. So to introduce Dhairya, I would like to tell about her. She is an entrepreneur, a content creator, a career coach, and she have more than 80,000 plus followers on LinkedIn. So how does it feel to have such a big family over LinkedIn, such a big professional, platform, Dhairya?
I think Amrita, honestly speaking, I always look at the value of the community. I've never looked at or advertised a lot about my numbers. So I think more than the number of people who follow me, I'm just very grateful that on a professional platform like LinkedIn, wherein you definitely have a very restricted and I would say a more, let's say, wise audience, they actually follow you for the right reasons. So I like that more than the number. And it's great to be, interacting with students and working professionals from all walks of life every single day. So yeah, it's a great feeling to be on such a platform.
Right, because numbers doesn't matter much, as we say, numbers are just a thing, but the community which we have, the followers which we have, the brand value and the image we lead with does matter a lot. So for today, Dhairya, I suppose you are aware we are connecting for Women's Day, and we are connecting over the, something very challenging. It is the theme of this podcast is going to be the psychology of career decision, for women's, how psychology, how things around them does matter.
Yeah.
So to start with, I would like to put up my first question. I would like to know your opinion over, how past experiences and beliefs, make our career decision as a woman. How do you think that your past experiences and beliefs put in?
I think that it's a very good question, firstly, Amrita, because I feel that a lot of things and most of our actions are determined by past incidents and what we have gone through as experiences. And as whether you are a woman or not, I feel in general experiences shape you up. So, and more so as women, because we tend to be more emotional as human beings, is what I've always heard, and that's what people claim. So a lot of what we draw from our experiences reflects on our career choices. So for example,
Right.
I'll tell you that a lot of people ask me that how did you know at the age of 22 you want to be a career coach and guide people when you had just graduated from college? So the answer to that is it was very driven from my experiences and what I had gone through. Being in a top tier one of the best private colleges, in fact, the top private college of the country, and doing engineering from there, I still lacked the right guidance and having a mentor. That's when I realized that if someone in a tier one college needs assistance, needs help with resumes, needs help with choosing the right career path, what about those students in tier two, tier three, tier four engineering colleges? It's obvious they need it too. And that's where the need arises, right? And from that experience, I drew a career choice, which is because I didn't have a mentor. I want to be a mentor for people like me. So I think I'm a live example of the fact that you draw so much from your experiences. And I think if you don't make that decision very consciously, subconsciously, what you've gone through, what are your pain points, a certain feeling you felt at a particular point does drive you to do something, or let's say go ahead in a particular field is what I always believe in. So I think, especially for women, it is a major driving factor.
That is true. That is true, because our experience are our guiding forces. We say history repeats ourselves, but the history doesn't repeat unless we take guidance and we try to take a step forward, in the right direction by taking the experience out of it. So here comes my next question. Like, being a woman, we and not only with women, with men also, we have seen gender biasness, we have seen discrimination. How do you think these things impact a woman's mind in making a career choice, and any decision which they make?
Sure. So I think a gender bias definitely exists. How much ever we want to deny it and we want to say we are a progressive economy, country, we are moving ahead, all of that is happening. But you can't eliminate it from the grassroots level. Unfortunately, it will take a couple of more years in double digits for that to be completely eradicated, maybe. However, I've obviously seen a shift wherein you don't see it in the face. Initially, I think, like again, taking my example, because I can speak for myself and what I've seen my female colleagues or female friends go through. So what I have noticed is a lot of times, especially when, even in this field, when I would go to, let's say, MBA colleges as a career coach, I'm going to turn 25 now in April. Okay? And at that time, I was like 22 when I graduated. And in an MBA, even today, when I go to an MBA school, the average batch size is 27, 28 years, right? So they're all elder to me. When I used to initially go, there was a particular stare or a particular opinion that people would form of me already. Number one, because I didn't have an MBA degree myself. I'd just done undergraduation. Two, because I was younger to them. And three, because I was a girl and who was going to go and teach, let's say 100 or 200 odd folks who are 28, 29 years old, and majority of them were men. And I cannot deny it. It was very clear and evident in their behavior, in their stares, etc. So I think what I've learned, and today obviously there is a time wherein I think over a period of time, people also realize that your gender, your years of experience, your age are all secondary, because when they start looking at your work and your work speaks for itself, then your age, your gender does not matter. But that took me 2.5 years to build. Similarly, at workplaces, I've seen a lot of my female friends who are in pure tech jobs. A lot of times, I mean, it's just set out as a very funny and a normal comment that, yeah, तुम कोडिंग कैसे कर लोगी, या कोडिंग तो लड़कियों की बस की बात नहीं है, या women don't do pure tech jobs. And it's said maybe in a very funny way or in a light tone, but I don't think it's the right thing to say, because, I mean, tell me one field wherein women are not nailing it and probably doing better than men. So I feel it's not even about comparing both the genders. I just feel that as long as we give an equal platform and give a fair chance, and then whoever does better, that's there for the audience, the recruiters, and everybody else to decide. So I think that shift is necessary, but I've definitely seen that gender bias. And I've seen it with the men also in certain fields. I won't just say it's with the females. Yeah.
Yes, I do understand. I do understand. Sometimes it is there. Sometimes when we are working with our, younger people and older to us, with each kind of, the age gap and the leap which is there, we have to be, we have to do some kind of adjustments, and we have to accept things which are going around, and we have to push ourselves sometimes and prove ourselves. Proving ourselves is the biggest definition which women in India are especially, going to define someday. Okay, so the next question is like, how do you help working professional, by guiding them off or by trading them off with, financial security, stability, or in terms of fulfillment of career?
Right. So see, Amrita, typically when I started off as a career coach, I thought that only students who are 18, 19, 20, in their first, second, third, or last year of college from any stream were people who I could guide or who needed my help. Over a period of time, I realized, in fact, 60% of the people who come to me are young working professionals or professionals with even 5-10 years of experience who want to switch careers, or they're not clear with what they want to do. So today I cater to both audiences. And what I've realized is students and working professionals both always want to go with a career path, obviously, wherein there is a sense of financial security, but at the same time, they are feeling fulfilled in their career. And I think that's a balance we all are trying to strike. You, me, everybody, right? I mean, who doesn't want good income to come in or revenue to come in through your job or whatever you're doing, and also be satisfied and feel fulfilled at your job? But I would not deny that it is a difficult thing to achieve, especially in your first job. Because I think a lot of times you have to give priority to certain things over another. So I think early on in your career, you may not want to give, let's say, just the pay or the CTC, or let's say how you're monetarily being rewarded in a job. I think it's more important to be satisfied in that job, have a good work culture, and also be fulfilled in the work you're doing. You can start concentrating on the financial aspect of it 1 or 2 years later down the line, because right now you should be hungry for experience and you should be hungry for learning. That's my opinion. But for a lot of people, they don't have that privilege, and it's important to strike that balance between financial security and liking their job, because they have to support their families. I was one of them as well. So I think at that time you make the choice basis on understanding that what's the best you can do, how can you improvise on your skills and keep upskilling yourself, so that even in your current job, if the pay is low, in the next 6 months or 7 months, you aim to get a promotion. You go up the ladder quicker. What can you do in your capacity to prove your worth at your workplace? You may start at X level, but it's in your hand to take it to 2X. It's in your hand, right? I tell a lot of people, you may start with a lower salary, but 2 years from now, you don't know where you're going to be if you prove your mettle in your job place. So I think take all factors into consideration, see the pros and cons, and then accordingly try to strike a balance between financial security and career fulfillment. And that's how I try to guide my mentees also. Yeah.
That is very true. Like, Dhairya, being a female myself, being, when someone is living alone and you have to manage your life with your work and everything around, sometimes, we do get disheartened and we do feel that pressure. But sometimes we also need that, external motivation, the guidance coming through people like you, maybe you are younger than people to whom you are guiding through, but the kind of a knowledge, maturity and those things doesn't comes by age, that comes by experience. So I personally think that you should never feel that you are younger, and you are you have a lot of years to be go through. So that is your privilege, I can say that here.
Yeah.
Yes. So my next question would be, what advice would you like to give to the women who are trying to build a business, a kind of a venture in tech industry?
Yeah. See, I think that women in tech or women who are trying to build technology-based startups, ventures, companies, or just trying to take the entrepreneurial route, I think the first thing that's very important is to be clear with the vision of why you are starting out and building something in tech. I feel that any subject or domain that you take, you have to truly enjoy it. I won't even use the word passion. You have to just have that vigor and curiosity inside you. I want to know more. I want to dig deeper. I want to, let's say, discover this layer by layer and go to the depths wherein I want to be the person who's uncovering things and bringing things in the economy first. That vigor, if you don't have for that subject, I don't think you can build anything around it. You have to truly be engrossed in it. That's the first thing I think. The second thing I feel that I would like to advise if you're building like a tech venture or a tech startup as women is to have a very strong team with multidisciplinary skills. Because I feel even though you may be primarily concentrating on technology and scaling that up and you have a tech-based venture, it's very important that you have your team members having the right skill set who complement you and other team members. Even if it's a tech venture, having a strong marketing and a branding team and a sales team will be important. Having a strong operations team to run a tech-based venture is important. So I think finding like-minded folks who have an expertise in their own niche, but still have a passion for technology. You get what I mean? Marketing experts who are also passionate about technology. Business development folks who also understand technology. Because at the end of the day, they are all driving a technology-driven product or service you'll have to offer. So they have to have a liking for technology, yet be experts in that one domain you're picking them for. And I think the last tip would be, I think along the process of building the venture, it's also very important to not just chase numbers or chase certain valuations or chase certain benchmarks. I think as an entrepreneur, what I have realized as well is that it's very important to obviously have goals, try to achieve them before timelines, have everything streamlined, organized, have processes and systems in place, have the right team with the right vision, but you can't just go after certain numbers and valuations and mindlessly run towards something. It's important to pause at times. As an entrepreneur, I think we don't appreciate pauses. We appreciate hustle all the time, which is important, but I think pauses are important as well. That will give you time to think back, reflect on new strategies, and it will give you time to rejuvenate as well as an entrepreneur, which is important. We're human beings at the end of the day, so you can function better that way.
See, in my personal opinion, pauses are required in after, after some, like even in when we were in school, after every 40 minutes in one subject, one interval, there was another class. And then when we were in colleges, we had 2 hours of lectures, but we then again had to get 15 minutes of break, after every. So when your mind is working so much, and when you are, creating a venture, when you're creating an industry, you are stepping into something. then obviously you need mental and emotional, pauses in your life, so that you can, imbibe, and you can accept the things which have gone through, which would be coming, and you can decide things upon,
Right.
it is very important. It is important in everyone's life. It is just not about someone who is, being
Building.
starting building
Yeah.
a, entrepreneur career or something. It is very important for everyone,
I agree.
So here I have one last question for the day with you, Dhairya. Like, what role do you think a mentor, or a networking in women's is beneficial for them to have an informed decision while they are making a career choice?
Yeah.
For a mentor.
Sure. I think that I said this recently in one of my reels. It's funny that you asked this question. I said this, that more than a degree, more than a college, a course or a certification that you do, a mentor can help you be that one step ahead. And I always say that because trust me, when I was in college, I didn't know there is a platform like LinkedIn where you need to make a profile, you can find internships. Nobody guided me. I didn't know that you should be a part of certain clubs and chapters, have a portfolio, take part in events, or take part in competitions, hackathons. Nobody there to guide me. So what I feel is there is definitely a need to have a mentor. It can make a ton of a difference if you have something, because it's as simple as that. Let's say you want to take a road trip to Goa, or आप पहली बार you're traveling, let's say from Bombay to Goa by car. Someone who's already traveled through that road, through that highway from Bombay to Goa, if you'll call them up and ask them, hey, can you tell me something I should keep in mind, or which route should I take, which will save my time, or something that I should explore on the way, जो इंसान वो already कर चुका है, someone who's already been through that experience will definitely be a better person to tell me, hey, do this or avoid this. Similarly, when you are on your career path and your journey, someone who has seen people around them or experienced that, if they tell you, listen, avoid this or do this, this will save your time, it will only be beneficial for your career. That's how I look at a mentor. It's a guide. It's someone who's going to save your time because they've traveled through the same road that you want to travel. And I think it's extremely essential. And the next thing that you had asked was, that how does it, I think you asked that, how does it, a mentor's role impact your journey? And I think the next thing was, what did you ask? Sorry? Networking, correct. So I think with respect to networking, I feel irrespective of, again, your gender, networking has at least made me who I am. I always say networking on LinkedIn and having a presence on LinkedIn has made Dhairya Gangwani. Whoever I am today, I am because of that. Whatever it is, whatever you know me for, one thing also, it's because of that. I'd never thought of the network that I built today, the kind of people I get up and sit with, the kind of people I have access to has changed so many things around me, right? And you don't always need somebody to give you access to that network. I think you can build that network for yourself if your work, your content, your values, and the skills you have to provide are of value to a large number of people. So I think that's what I have learned. And I think networking has to be done both online and offline. Don't just think networking on social media as networking. Attending events, conferences, networking with people in person, having, small coffee chats with, let's say, people you want to work with, it's all a part of networking. So you have to strike the right balance between offline and online networking. And it can help you in multiple ways. You may find your co-founder for your startup who's going to be your co-founder 10 years from now at an event. You may find, your next client at an event. You don't know. So I think, networking is extremely essential. And, I would like to end it by saying your network is your net worth. And I truly believe in it. It is definitely your net worth. So you should definitely work on it. Yeah.
Well said, well said. The last line which you quoted is, it's well said line. So I would like to end our discussion today over here at this point, Hera, and I would like to really thank you from the bottom of my heart and wish you a very happy Women's Day for 8th of March coming. And
I wish you the same, and a very happy Women's Day to all the viewers of the Geeks for Geeks YouTube channel who would watch this, and more power to all the women and men out there.
Thank you so much. More power to you, Dhairya. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.